If I just can fire some questions off at you, champ, is that okay? Because
sure, yeah, absolutely.
obviously, really appreciate your time. Because, like I say, you are one of the greats, and it's an honour to speak with you. As you know, Roberto Duran just turned 70, and a lot of tributes were written, of course. And you had that amazing fight with him. It was a non-title fight, but what are your memories of that fight and of Duran in particular?
Well, the very good memory that I have is, I was very, very sure, very confident that I was going to beat him. He was moving up from lightweight to welterweight, and I had seen a couple of his. I think he had one or two fights at the welterweight division before our fight.
Yeah.
And he didn't look very impressive to me. I saw the fight. When the fight was offered, we took it right away because I told my manager, I said, oh yeah, that's gonna be an easy fight. And when he came in the fight that I had seen him at the welterweight, he didn't look. He looked like the welterweight division was not right for him. Like, he looked overweight. He looked kind of soft. But and when we weighed in, I noticed that he was in much, much better shape. He was 145 pounds, and he was just, you could tell the difference in the fight that I had seen and what he looked like in preparation for our fight. I was 145 for that, 45 and a half for that fight. And so what I remember once the fight started is his quickness. His hands, speed of his hands, quick speed, was really threw me off, and I really could not really settle in and catch him. I was trying to count. He was throwing an overhand right hand most of the night, and I was trying to counter that right hand with that left hook over it. I just couldn't. I couldn't get the timing right. I couldn't catch him. And I think it was just the speed surprised me. I didn't think he was going to be his hand speed was going to be that much faster than mine, but it was.
Right, and obviously, everybody knows Duran for he had a variety of. He had an amazing skill, as you know, but he also had some. He could do the dirty tricks and stuff. I mean, Ken Buchanan still swears to this day, the low blow, the knee to the ground, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
Did he do any dirty stuff with you? I'm not sure if he did.
No, I actually told him. We ran into each other once when his movie premiered out here. The Manos de Piedra, Grand Story. I was invited to the premiere, and I saw him, and I hadn't seen him in years, so we talked a little bit, and I reminded him that he thumbed me twice in my right eye. But we were, every time we were getting the inside, I don't know if he did it on purpose or accidental, but I got thumbed twice in the right eye.
Right.
I ended up having to, years later, I've had 2 surgeries on that eye to correct it, because it was just kind of really affected me a couple of years later.
Right.
And I felt it that night in the ring, but I was able to continue, and the referee didn't see it, so nothing was said. But that was the only thing. The thing also, he was a very skilled fighter on the inside. My fight, I was also a very good fighter on the inside.
Oh yeah.
Most of my fights, that's what I did. I was on the inside, but I found him when we got inside. His punches were landing a little bit faster than mine were against him.
Yeah, I mean, some people say it's one of the best welterweight non-title fights ever. I mean, do you wish it had been maybe a 15-rounder, because you were still strong at the end, and
I was coming off fighting 9 straight title fights in a 15-round fight.
Yeah.
That was the first fight I took after the Benitez loss. I thought I won that fight.
Oh, split decision.
Yeah, I thought I won it. But I was in Puerto Rico. I knew when I got back to the corner after the 15th round, my manager, who was not a bullshitter, Jack McCoy, he always told me the truth. He said, "You won, but you're not going to get the fight." And then they refused to give me a rematch. So the fight with Duran was offered, and I took it. That was the first fight. And after that Benitez fight, and I was coming, like I said, I was coming off fighting 9 straight world title fights.
I know, it's amazing. That's amazing.
I got a little bit of a slow story. I think if I had 5 more rounds, it might have been a different story, but I don't know. A lot of my knockouts in the world title fights came in the late rounds, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th.
Yeah.
So, we don't know I don't know what might have happened if I had 5 more rounds.
Right, because I mean, you mentioned it before about inside fighting, but you were a brilliant body puncher. I think it was the body punches that did away with John H. Tracy. That's what proved too much for him. Just briefly again on the Benitez fight, because I mean it's amazing to think nowadays a young fight fan like myself to see these guys fight maybe once a year and stuff like that. You yourself there. You fight Benitez in January, and then 5 months later you're in with Duran. I mean, it just wouldn't happen now. I mean, do the guys nowadays? I don't know how to phrase it. I mean, is it easier for them, or is it? Are they making it hard on themselves?
I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's because they're making so much more money.
Yeah.
Like long breaks. In 1978, I made 4 title defenses, and I think that last one was in July, and I was gonna, I told my manager, if I can get 6, 7 title defenses in this year, that's what I want to do. But I broke my hand in the 4th title defense, so I was off. I was off for 9 months, and then the next fight is the Benitez fight after being off 9 months. So I needed to work. I needed to be fighting all the time to stay sharp. That long layoff, affected me. And so I don't really know why fighters nowadays, like you say, fight. And in fact, in all divisions, they're all the same. It's once a year, twice a year, the most. I don't know why that is. Maybe just like I said, like they're making so much money that they don't need to be fighting too often.
Yes, certainly the big names seem to just fight once a year. But yeah, I mean, looking at your resume on Boxrec, it truly is amazing. I mean, when you had that draw with Hedgeman Lewis, who was another. Majority draw. It was a draw. Yeah, I mean, was that a fair decision in the Olympic Auditorium where you were so popular when you fought there so many times?
Yeah. No, so did Hedgeman also kind of grew up in the Olympic Auditorium himself. So we were both very known there, very popular there. No, I thought it was the right decision. I was coming on at the end. I think he got a fast start on me, and then I was coming on at the end. But I think that a draw was the right decision, and that's why as soon as that fight was over, I told my manager that we get a rematch, and so they worked on it. And 6 weeks later, we were going to fight a rematch 6 weeks after the first fight, and then Hedgeman got that title fight with John, and they asked me to let him out of our contract. So they actually negotiated a deal. We let him out of the contract so he could fight John Tracy, and they paid me for that, and also guaranteed me that I would get a fight with the winner. So that's how I ended up getting the title fight. That's all with Hedgeman.
Right. And you had 2 great wins over at Wembley, London, when you beat Tracy, and then you defended against Dave Boy Green, two of our most popular fighters at the time. I mean, what was your reception like? I mean, what are your memories of those brilliant wins?
I have a lot of respect for British fans, because I went there with this preconditioned idea because I remember watching. I don't think it was Hagler. Like it was a really bad situation that happened when he fought there in England, and I think it was because of how he behaved. I don't know. I was always respectful to my opponents, and I was treated with a lot of respect. I mean, after the John Stracy fight, I came out of the ring and fans were stopping me, asking me to take pictures with them. So
Yeah.
It was very, very respectful. I have a lot of respect for British boxing fans. And then I went back, and, in the fight with Dave Boy Green, the same thing. I had a lot of respect. So yeah, I love fighting in England.
Yeah. Like I say, people still talk about those fights. Fans of a certain age and younger fans that are doing the research. Learning about these great fights. Your name always comes up. One of the tough. No, you never got stopped. You just, what a lot of guys do get stopped, don't they? I mean, even the great ones. But you were just a tough.
Yeah, I see that. Duran was stopped. Then Pacquiao got knocked out.
Yeah.
Knocked down in his face.
Yeah.
You sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, Ray Leonard. We used to work out in the same gym after retirement. Just stay in shape. And he had been retired, I think, maybe 6 years, and he was in the gym one day, and he said to me, "Hey, can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And he said, I just got an offer to fight Hector Camacho. I said, "But you've been on, how long you been retired?" He said, "Oh, 6 years." And I said, "Well," I said, he said, "They offered me $4 million." And I said, "Well, if you don't want to take it, I'll take it."
Yeah.
He said, I said to him, the one thing he can't do, he can't hurt you because he can't punch. So he said, "Yeah, that's what I think." And Ray Leonard had never been stopped. And then he takes that fight and hits the much and knocks him out.
Yeah, I can remember that. That was when I started covering stuff. Yeah, I couldn't believe it because, like you say, he'd been in with those monsters like Hagler and Hearns, and they couldn't stop him. And then
Sammy Hearns.
Yeah.
Big punches. And then he ends up, getting knocked out by Hector Camacho. He came back to the gym. He was just so down after that. I mean, I said, "Man, sometimes I just got out, man." He goes, I know that you never got knocked out. That was one thing that I was really proud of. That nobody ever stopped me.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great fighters. It's amazing. Ali got stopped.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. Just
Foreman, even Foreman. Even Big George got chopped down by Ali. That's still. Did anyone? Did anyone come close? Perhaps to stopping you? I mean, did anyone buzz you or get you dizzy or anything?
I got dropped a couple of times in fights in my first fight against Armando Benitez. But they were always like flash knockdowns. I was never really. I mean, I was down. I never took a count on the ground. I was down up and I picked the 78 count.
Right.
But the one time that I remember that I got really buzzed where I was not clear. I mean, I didn't go down. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't go down, but I was fuzzy and I couldn't really see my opponent. He was right in front of me, and that was Dave Boy Green.
Really?
He hit me with the right hand. My legs wobbled, and I didn't go down, but I really. It was like a crowd was in front of me, and it lasted maybe 30 seconds. And then I recovered while I was in front of him, trying not to get knocked out.
Right. Yeah. I've not seen that fight because quite a lot of we're so lucky nowadays, because of YouTube, we can find all these great fights for free. We're so blessed to have this technology, and a lot of your fights are on there, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look again for that, for the Dave Boy Green fight.
I think it was an 8-9 round. If you find it, take a look at that. He hit me with a straight right hand, and I'm right in front of him, and I just, I don't know why I didn't go down. Because I was really out of it for a little bit.
Right. So you mentioned Mooney's there. How good was Mooney? You fought the guy twice. I don't know much about him.
He was just a really, really tough guy.
Yeah.
He wrestled in high school, so he had no neck, so you can hit him he beat Jose Nápoles and got robbed in Mexico.
Right.
And that would have made him a world champion. And I think he might have been a champion for a long time if he had won that fight. That's just his complicated. He won the fight, they didn't give it to him.
Right.
And then he went back for a rematch in Mexico City in the altitude and got beat 15 rounds for a decision. Jose Nápoles to me is one of the greatest welterweights that ever lived. And for him to stop him and get robbed and then go back and 15 rounds with him, that was impressive to me. And then, then we fought, and it was just a war, 15-round war. 1977, it was fight of the year.
Yeah.
Just a tough guy. And, if it wasn't for, my conditioning, he would have stopped me somewhere in that fight. But I worked really hard for all my fights, and every time I stepped in the ring, in my mind, I knew that I was in better shape than my opponent. I don't care what he was doing. I knew that what I was doing was going to be in better shape than anybody I fought.
Yeah, that's the one thing. It's amazing when you look at certain guys like yourself, always in great shape. What do you attribute that to? Was it road work? Or was it a combination of road work, sparring?
I think it was my road work more because everybody when you watch a world champion in a camp, everybody pretty much says, I know nowadays, I tell fighters, 10 times that I've met, like Ryan Garcia, they ask me questions about my time.
Yeah.
I usually spar around 150 rounds for a championship fight.
That's a lot.
Fight,
yeah.
150 rounds. These guys tell me they're sparring, 50, 60 rounds to go 12 rounds. To me, that's why Oscar De La Hoya, you notice Oscar's fights, title fights at 12 rounds. On the 10th round, 11th round, Oscar was, in most of his fights, he was backpedaling, he looked exhausted in all those fights.
Yeah.
I started my amateur career in the Army, so the Army, they woke us up every morning at 5 in the morning, and they took us out to run, and the coaches were with us, watching us, run. And we ran 6 miles every morning, 6 days a week.
Wow, that's intense.
Yeah, so when I got out of the Army, I just kept that routine. I got up in the morning, I ran 6 miles, and I got to the point where I used to run 6-minute miles. So I ran 6 miles in 36 minutes.
That's amazing, yeah. That's an amazing.
And then twice a week I go to the track and I would run sprints. I run 440, 220, 100s. And I learned that, not from the Army, but from I was going to school, I was going to college.
Yeah.
And when I had my first 8-round fight, I found that I got tired in the 7th, 8th round. I was exhausted. So, and I thought maybe it was my running. I was running 6 miles, but maybe I thought maybe that's not enough. I went to the track coach at the college, and I asked him if he could help me with my running program. So he said, okay, well, come with us and run with the track team. So I showed up to run with the Long Beach State track team. And, I was running at that time. I wasn't up to the 6-minute miles. I was running maybe 8-minute miles. And the coach told me, well, you gotta really push it because you have to expand your lungs, you get some air in. And he was saying, then you gotta go to the track and you gotta run sprints. So that taught me actually how to run. And from that point on, my whole career, I got to where I run 6-minute miles, and I go to the track, I run sprints, I run 440s, I do 5 440s, 5 220s, 5 100s, 5 50s,
Yeah, well, that's another interesting point you brought up there, champ. I mean, the 15 round distance. A lot of the old timers, fighters and fans and writers and everything say it's such a shame that they took away the 15 round. Guys like yourself, like you say, you scored quite a lot of late stoppages, and things would have been so different if you'd only had 12 rounds to work.
Well, I probably would have lost 4 of my world title fights if they had been 12-round fights.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different sport nowadays. You're still a fan, obviously. You're still around it and everything. And like you say, guys like Ryan Garcia, who's very excited, he's asking you for advice. He's asking you. That's good. This is a question you probably get asked a lot. But who was the, as great as you were? Who was the greatest you fought?
Well, I have 2 categories. I think Duran was probably the best as far as skill level. I mean, he was like a natural fighter. He was in, he was out. Paint this way, paint that way. Step around you. Just tremendous talent. And then defensively, skill level, defense wise was Benitez.
Yeah.
I felt like Benitez almost had like a sixth sense.
Yeah, I called him El Radar, didn't they?
Seeing punches coming at him,
Yeah. Do you another question.
The fight I had was the toughest fight I had was that 15-round fight with Wonder East.
Right. Or the second one.
No, the first one.
Or when you stopped him.
Yeah, when I stopped him was like it was like 10 seconds left.
Right.
Stepped in and stopped him. So
right.
It almost went the full 15.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna try and find that on YouTube.
Yeah. But I had, it's really weird. People always ask me that question. I remember I had amateur fights that were so tough. Because I was learning boxing as I was fighting in the army. Because I went in the army, I had like 2 months of training in the boxing gym, and then I tried out for the army boxing team, and I ended up winning the tournament. I don't know how I won it, because I fought guys in 50, 60 amateur fights, and I had no amateur fights under my belt. I had 2 months of training.
Wow, that's amazing.
But then I ended up winning in 1971. I won the Pan American Trials. So I fought a guys that were Golden Glove champions. They were national AAU champions with 80, 90 amateur fights, and I had 15. I got by that time 12, 15, 16 amateur fights. And I remember in the final of that Pan American Trials tournament, I fought a guy from Indianapolis who was Golden Glove champion. And I got dropped every round. I got dropped in the first round, I got dropped in the second round, I got dropped in the third round. And I kept getting up and just going after him. And I ended up winning the fight. He didn't get dropped 2 times because the amateurs, if you get knocked down, even if you get knocked down, it just counts as 1 punch landed. It's not like pros where you get knocked down, it's a 10-8 round.
Oh, the scoring system. Who was that guy then? Did you?
His name was Norman Goins.
He
turned pro, and I followed him. Because he was fighting up in his hometown in Indianapolis, and I was in LA, but I was keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
He moved up. We were both 139 pounds. I fought at 139 as an amateur, and we both moved up to welterweight when we turned pro. And he went about 10, 11-0, and then all of a sudden he lost, and then he just kind of fell off the planet. I never heard from him again. Saw a fight or anything. So I really don't know what happened after he lost. He just, I think, kind of took a downfall and we quit fighting. I'm not sure what happened.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, some guys, if they get initial setback, maybe they just,
Yeah.
Like you.
It's like Sugar Ray Seals, he won a gold medal in the 72 Olympics. I beat him 2 months before he went to the Olympics at the National AU Championships. I beat him, and then 2 months later, he won the Olympic trials and won a gold medal.
Wow, you beat him. Was that on points?
Yeah, I beat him on points. Yeah, it was a 3-round decision in the national. It was a national AAU championships in Las Vegas, and we actually met in the final. We were in the final, and I beat him in the finals, and then he made the Olympic team and won a gold medal.
Wow. Yeah,
Then he turned pro, and nothing really happened.
No, I had the honour of speaking with Sugar Ray Seales last year over the phone, and he was.
Really, no, I think he was doing really well. Moving up, he was up because he was like a 6'1" or 6'2" guy, and he still made 139 pounds. But then when he turned pro, he moved up to middleweight.
Yeah, he fought Hagler. That was his problem, I guess.
They put him against Hagler way too soon.
Yeah.
And I think it just ruined his career.
Yeah, it's interesting. You've got this encyclopedic knowledge of boxing, haven't you, champ? You really have. But another question you might probably get asked a lot is there anybody that you wish you'd fought in your pro career, but you never got the chance?
I really can't think of anybody at times I think maybe I retired right when I turned 30 years old, and at that time big money was just starting to come to boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard. Right after I fought Duran, I couldn't get a rematch with Benitez, and Benitez gave Sugar Ray Leonard a title fight.
Yeah.
And they both made over $1 million in that title fight. And that was right after. That was in 1980. I retired. Like 6 months after I retired. And at times I thought maybe I should, come back and see if I can get another title fight. Maybe Ray Leonard. I could make $1 million. I made 8 title defenses. Was 7 successful, lost it in the 8. And I didn't make $1 million my whole career.
That's crazy. That just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, and then here 6 months after I retired, Ray Leonard is fighting Benitez. He's getting $1.5 million, and Benitez is getting $1 million.
Yeah.
So I really thought about canceling my retirement and getting back to the gym, and because I was just turned 30, I was
still young.
I never took any beatings, so I was still 100%. I felt that I could still compete at any level. But then, I just thought about it some more, and I thought, I had promised my mother I would quit. My mother never saw me fight. She hated that I was boxing, and she never saw me fight live. Once we told her that I won, she would watch a replay of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I had promised her that I would retire at 30. Because my father was a huge boxing fan. He always talked about boxing, and he always talked about great Mexican champions who had fought too long and had, were punch drunk and were, broke and were taking 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards because they were so unbalanced and so hurt from their careers. That I thought, okay, I'm 30, I'm out of here. And so I thought about that, and I just said, okay, I'm just going to stay retired.
Yeah.
To get the money. And I was doing well, my acting career, I was just starting to act, and I was getting a lot of work, kind of playing myself, but I was still getting a lot of work. I got to like doing commercials. I was doing well, and was making more money than I made as a fighter. Right.
Yeah, you've had a very good. You've done a lot of things outside of the ring as well, and of course you still look. People can't believe. I guess people can't believe you when you tell them. I said Duran was 70. You're the same age, aren't you? And you look a whole lot younger than him.
I'm actually 2 years older. I'm going to be 72 in August.
Wow, and you look a whole lot younger. It's just. I guess you still look as though you could kick some ass. No, but you did make a comeback, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I made a comeback at the age of 47.
And you still looked great then, and you put a string of wins together, and I think you just lost a decision at the end. But
I got 4 straight wins, 4 straight knockouts. Now, my father passed away in 1995. And, I had a lot of issues with my father. My story, just give my story. We're getting ready to make a movie about my story called Palomino.
All right.
I had just a difficult childhood and upbringing with my dad, who was just an old-fashioned, old-school, tough guy, excellent tough guy who, didn't really know how to raise kids. He just kind of did what he knew, and he was just a no-nonsense kind of guy. But he loved boxing, and he wanted his kids to be a fighter. It turned out to be me. When I told at the age of 12, I told him that I was never going to be a boxer. I told him, you can kill me if you want. I'm never going to box. But that, he passed away. It's about when he got cancer. He was in the hospital, and they told us they couldn't do anything for him. The cancer had spread. So he told me and my older brother, I don't want to die here. Take me home. So we took him home, and we took care of him for 6 months. And I sat with him, and I tried to figure out what happened and why he was the way he was, and why he treated me the way he treated me, because he was abusive, verbally and physically.
Right. And
he just looked at me and said, what did I do wrong? He said, look at you, look at what you've done. And he goes, that's because of me. So I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's
okay. So maybe that was my destiny. That's so after he passed and we buried him, I just went back to the gym because that was like the best time that my dad and I had together. Because, even though he never told me that he was proud, everybody else around him, all his friends, all my uncles used to tell me how your dad is so proud of you. But he never told me that himself. But he would come to the gym and watch me train and watch me spar. And so it was our best time together. So I'm 47 years old. I went back to the gym just to kind of get some peace. I felt like my heart was broken. And my trainer and my manager was still in the gym. We were running we actually opened that gym in 1972 because I didn't have any place to train. And I just felt my dad's presence in that gym when I walked in.
Yeah.
So I just decided to go back and just started hitting the bag and just spending some time there. And a guy walked in and asked me if I wanted to make him come back. I said no. And he kept coming back and he offered me $1 million for a full fight.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I sat with him and I said, okay, let's talk about this. I said, I want to be involved in who I'm picking on, who I'm fighting. I'm not stepping in. Oscar De La Hoya was a world champion at the time.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not fighting Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
I said, no, we'll get you ready, and then hopefully everything turns out right, and you still have the skill. Maybe you can get a title fight. I can go with that, and so I signed the deal, and I had 4 straight knockouts, and then but I didn't get the $1 million, and those guys disappeared. I tried to find them. I got a lawyer for a lawsuit, but we couldn't find them to serve them, and I don't know what happened to them. There's a young promoter out of LA who was trying to get into the game, and didn't work out. But then Bob Elm offered me a fight with Alfredo Rivera from Puerto Rico. And I had just seen him fight Oscar De La Hoya in the world title fight. Oscar beat him, stopped him on a cut, but he didn't knock him out. But I saw the fight. I just felt like I could beat because I had just turned 48. So I took the fight at the Olympic Auditorium and I lost the decision. But I was close. A couple of times I felt I had him hurt.
Yeah.
But even in that fight, I just felt like I had to knock him title fight against either Oscar De La Hoya or Tito Trinidad, who was the WBA champion. Well, those were the two champions.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had to knock Rafael out to prove to myself that I could step into the ring with Rafael, with Oscar, or with Tito.
Yeah.
But I lost the decision, and that was it. And I felt comfortable. I felt at peace. I felt like my dad had, actually in that last fight in the ninth round, I just felt like in my head, my father telling me that's enough. Okay, it's time to step out, and so that was it.
That's an amazing story. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as though you picked some like easy stiffs, to come back against, was it? They're all quality fighters.
I mean, I had every reporter that covered boxing in Los Angeles who, they all loved it. Telling me, don't fight that guy. Rene Alaroto, who's a former super lightweight champion of the world, 140-pound champion. I took a fight against him in my fourth fight, and they were all telling me that it was a dangerous fight, that he was too dangerous. He was explosive power that knocked me out. He was too young. He was 32. I was 48. And I knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah, that's an amazing. How did you feel then at 48? Because guys like you, there are a few exceptions that can do it, like you and Foreman and Hopkins.
I still don't. I've never stopped working out. After I retired at the age of 30, I started running marathons. I ran 9 marathons, 26.6-mile marathons, and I ran one ultra marathon of 60 miles.
Wow.
So I never stopped working out. I was always in great shape. Then I retired that second time at 48, and I've never stopped working out. I still get up every morning, do 500-600 sit-ups, a shadow box with 5-pound barbells in my hand. I do 12, 15 rounds of shadow boxing. I can't run anymore because of my knee, but I still walk. I speed walk every morning. I do 4 or 5 miles. So I'm still pretty close to my fighting weight.
That's amazing. Yeah, just some active fighters don't train as hard as you. That's what you're doing just because the love of it. That's what made you. It's really funny. A lot of my family, I do get together with my family. I'm one of 12 kids. My brothers, they'll tell me, man, when are you going to get old? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Carlos, it's been an absolute honour speaking with you. And, I tell you, you in your prime against De La Hoya would have been an interesting fight. I'll just leave it at that. I think that would have been...
I always feel like that. I still feel like John Stewart is probably one of the toughest guys I ever fought.
Yeah.
I mean, for him to get up after those 2 shots in the body, he got up. When he was on the first round, his mouthpiece, he came out. I thought to myself, that's it. And he got up.
Yeah.
And then he went down again, and I thought, okay, he's not getting up again. And I saw the corner tell him to stay down, and he got up. And, and then I saw Oscar get hit like a slap to the side of Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
He was holding it on in the canvas like a shot.
Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
I thought, man, that would have been easy in my prime. I hit that hook in the body, been crawling around the ring for an hour.
Yeah, I think so. I think your body work would have been too fierce for him. But that's the thing about the great Mexican fighters. They all do the body work, like Chavez and yourself. And it's just, it's fundamentally part of your game, isn't it? As one of those warriors, you go to the body.
Yeah, I think the first thing Mexican coaches teach is to the body.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, sir. I really appreciate it. It's really been an honour.
Thank you very much.
Well, I look forward to the movie, whatever they're making on you.
All right.
Really look forward to that. So, thank you for your time, sir. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.